Prophet Moses was sent to the Israelites, as was Prophet Jesus. Even though there was a long span of time between the two prophets, they are both addressing the Israelites. Notice that when Moses addresses the Israelites, he says, "My people," whereas Jesus says, "Children of Israel." In Jewish tradition, identity is given by the Father. The nation itself is named after Israel, the father of the original 12 tribes that all Jews descend from. This is the case in most societies, as the surname is usually acquired from the father. So when Moses says, "My people," he's actually saying that my father is from among you, which he's actually saying that my father is from among you. Is from among you. Which is the case as his father was an Israelite. But never in the Quran do we find Jesus saying, "My people." Every time he addresses the Israelites, he says, "Children of Israel." This is because, unlike Moses, he didn't have a father. His birth was miraculous through the Virgin Mary. Amazingly, this kind of precision is present throughout the Quran. Abundance. The 108th century, the 108th chapter of the Quran, Al-Kawthar, the abundance is its smallest chapter. "Indeed, we have granted you, O Muhammad, Al-Kawthar, the abundance. So pray to your Lord and sacrifice to him alone. Indeed, your enemy is the one cut off." This chapter was revealed at a particularly difficult point in Prophet Muhammad's life, as his baby son had just died. The enemies of God started to taunt him by saying that he had been cut off, meaning that he had been cut off from descendants, and so when he died he would not be remembered. These verses were revealed as a consolation to Prophet Muhammad, reminding him that God had already given him an abundance of everything that is good, and a warning to his enemies by pointing out that in reality it is they who will be caught off. This is actually a prophecy, as Muhammad turned out to be the most successful prophet, both as a man delivering a message and as a statesman, while his enemies eventually lost their power and have been forgotten in history. What's amazing is that this chapter consists of only 3 lines, less than 15 words in Arabic, and yet it represents a sea of rhetoric. It is filled with more than 30 literary features. That's more features than the words it contains. It's out of the scope of this book to cover them all, but let's look at a few examples of the literary features. The word choice in this chapter cannot be battered. There is not a single word that can be improved by replacing it with another word. Let's look at the last word in the first sentence, Al-Kawthar. This word carries the meaning of the plentiful, multitude, overflowing, rich, unstinting, and unending. Notice that the sentence is open-ended. It is not specified what Prophet Muhammad has been given an abundance of. It would be like a friend of yours saying, "I've given you lots." You would probably wonder, lots of what exactly? By not stating exactly what Prophet Muhammad has been given an abundance of. God is making the rhetorical point that he has been given an abundance of everything. Within the science of eloquence and rhetoric, mentioning all the things would be excessive and an ineffective use of language. Also notice the use of the past tense. He has been given an abundance. It doesn't say he will be given an abundance, which would indicate a future event. The fact that the verb has been used in the past tense indicates that has already happened and makes it definitive. Makes it definitive, instilling a feeling of reassurance and certainty. Finally, it's worth reflecting on the name of the chapter, Al-Kawthar, the abundance. This chapter has achieved a maximum abundance of literary features whilst using the minimum number of words, an amazing feat. Conclusion. In literature, you do not publish the first draft of a written work without going through a rigorous editorial process in order to refine the writing and make it the best it can be. You can think of the writing process like sculpting, where you start off with a block of stone or clay which you gradually chip away at. Over time, the sculpture slowly takes shape until it is completed and ready for unveiling to the general public. As we've seen in the examples above, the Quran has all the hallmarks of a literary masterpiece without having had the benefit of an editorial process, because of the oral and unplanned nature of its revelation. Remarkably, every page of the Quran is filled with such literary features. It is reasonable to conclude they are present by design rather than coincidence.